Nick Harris and Tommy Yarrish. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it.
Did we tell the story right of how you were just walking by trying to live your life and we're like, no, you need to come sit down with us right now?
No, not entirely. It was actually Corey kidnapped us off the street, put bags over our heads, and then sat us down here. So
he is aggressive.
Landman,
yeah.
So that's kind of one of the key things.
I understand it. I understand. Yeah, I get it.
Got to have Cowboys content. You know? Got it. All right. So I guess I got to start with your general thoughts about Marcus Dixon being added to the staff, and then what you've thought about how Christian Parker's constructed the staff thus far. Feels like some maybe more young and up-and-coming coaches on the staff.
Yeah, it's clear that they're looking for a type of person and a type of coach, and it's the teacher, it's the communicator. And anytime you talked about any of these guys who are not only been hired but have been interviewed, those are the two things you typically hear is like, hey, these guys are really good teachers, these guys are really good communicators. With Marcus Dixon specifically coming from the Vikings, a coach for sure, played in Dallas for a little bit too, so he has experience in Dallas. It's a hire that I think should excite some people. And it's funny because we wanted the thorough search for the defensive coordinator, right? And we didn't even really ask for it for the staff, but we're getting it anyway. And so that's been encouraging to see. Christian Parker and his staff are doing their due diligence. I mean, we were talking to Steven last week in Alabama, Tommy, and he was like, yeah, we hope to have it wrapped up by the weekend, but we're Tuesday and we still have 3 position coaches that are out there that need to be hired and need to be filled. So it's they've done a really good job, thorough search, and we'll see what this complete staff looks like probably by the end of this week.
Now, Tommy, counterpoint, why do you think these are dumb hires?
Well, I mean,
yeah, put the team employee in, that's fine.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
No, to build on it, with Dixon, we've heard nothing but good things over the last couple of days about him, and even going back to when he was initially interviewed. Nick talked about he played for the Cowboys. He also coached for the Cowboys very briefly in one of those internship roles. I don't remember what year it was. So he's a guy who's very familiar with Dallas. They know him, and it just kind of feels right. I think that you look at the Vikings the last couple of years, I think they've been first in sacks or in the top 5 in sacks over the last couple of years on the defensive line. And, a lot of people have high praise for his character and just what kind of a coach he is. So that'll be fun. And then, going back to just the Senior Bowl in general, I think one of the things that we heard a lot too was everybody we talked to is just raved about Christian Parker.
Wow.
And
already?
Folks, not just in Dallas, but other teams that have worked with him in the past, they have nothing but good things to say about this guy. I thought it was interesting that Will told us the same thing, basically, is in the whole process, we never heard anything negative about him. And I think that's been accurate based on everybody that we've spoken to.
I think that the teacher part, obviously, communication is important to everything. I mean, when we're driving, we use blinkers for a reason. Mm-hmm. How much of that, though, is this is going to be a relatively young defense if you're drafting on that side of the ball, and how important that is to get them going quickly.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. I think another big part of it is not necessarily, well, I think it is a knock against Matt Eberflus. I'll go ahead and say it. He wasn't that last year. He wasn't the teacher. He wasn't the communicator. When they let him go, they were like, look, we actually do believe in this guy. Like, he is smart. He understands what he's doing. He just can't communicate it. And he was not a player's coach. And so they wanted that in the building. And when they set out on their search, the guys who made that finalist in-person interview round, all those guys had those traits, whether it was Christian Parker, who ended up getting the job, obviously, Durante Jones. Jonathan Gannon, I think, was probably the wild card there. I think that was the disaster class scenario. But nevertheless, it's a trait that's continuing to pop up with these coaches.
Kevin, you present 3 options.
Yeah.
One that nobody wants, and then so you get the one that you really want. That was the Jonathan Gannon option.
Look, we have Mickey on every day during the season when he was like, I don't really know if I would feel super pumped about that one. I was like, that was Mickey's version of being like, if we hire Jonathan Gannon, I'm done with this crap. And so I did really enjoy that.
That would be funny to see Mickey throw his notepad in somebody's face.
Like,
I'm out of here. After all these years,
That's the final straw.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I've put up with this crap for too long.
And then he rides his bike off.
He loves riding his bike.
Oh, my
Do you ever
gosh.
ride bikes with Mickey?
No, not a chance. I mean, I would. I have no problem with riding a bike. But
Kind of sounds
man,
like you do.
He cracks me up because every time at training camp, he would come in and he's got that bright vest on. You couldn't miss him in a crowd of 100,000 people because he's got the vest on. And
Yeah, he's a part in Tank Top Tuesday this year out there when we all had tank tops
Just
on.
what
Even
we all
Mickey.
needed.
There's a videographer that works for the Cowboys. His name's Alex Lilly. He does a really good job. He does the sounds for the side, from the sidelines.
Oh, yeah.
He's the one that puts that together. There was a couple of years ago at camp. Mickey had kind of forced him to be his biking buddy, and Mickey was like, "Hey, we got practice later in the afternoon today. Let's go bike 10 miles because like they typically do like 5." And Alex like, "All right, cool." And they're biking, and they continue to go. And he's like, "Man, I feel like we've done 10 miles already." And they get to wherever they're going, and he looks at Mickey. He's like, "Man, have we already gone like 5 miles? Like we're turning around and coming back?" And he's like, "Oh no, we're doing 10 miles and then 10 miles back."
Oh, wow.
And so they biked damn near a marathon that day. And then he had to film practice. By the end of the day, he was out of there. He was cooked.
That was really shaky practice footage
really
that day.
shaky practice footage, no doubt.
Now, we've talked all about the ways, and obviously y'all are familiar with this, all of the ways the Cowboys can create massive amounts of salary cap space, especially now that the cap came in maybe like $8-ish million higher than a lot of us anticipated. But then the question is, do you think that will actually happen outside of, hey, we brought back Javonte, we brought back George Pickens? There are all kinds of avenues in front of them if they're not afraid of screwing over their 28 salary cap, but it feels like they're very hesitant about that.
I would think that if there is a time for them not to be hesitant, it's this year.
Yes.
Because I think they recognize, and we've heard it from plenty of people like Will, Steven, even Jerry, that this defensive personnel they know is not good enough. And when you've got 2 first-round picks, you want to solidify as much as you can going into the draft so you can go in there and take the best players that you can. And I think, both of those players will probably be defensive players, barring some sort of drop similar to what they keep bringing up with CD a couple years ago.
Speaking of drops, though, are we all going to party together for some reason? Caleb Downs is there.
Oh, absolutely.
No, you sprint to the podium.
Oh, my God.
I think, I would give him the card for him. Yeah, I think that would be. But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you want a Caleb Downs type player, you got to add in free agency, and I think that's what is going to make Caleb Downs a guy like Caleb Downs being added so much better. Is if there's veteran guys or even younger guys that are going into their second contracts that you can surround a Caleb Downs with and this defense with, so that you're not as bad as they were a season ago. And the good thing is for Christian Parker, it's very hard to be worse than they were a season ago. So
That's true.
it's I think you look at that's a positive for him because you got a good starting point, but you still need to make the correct personnel moves to set yourself up for that.
Yeah, imagine you take a job, right? And your employer's like, "Hey, man, we love having you in here. We just need you to be slightly below average." I'd be like, "Where
That's
do I
how we
sign
got
up,
this
man?"
job,
Like-
actually, believe it or not.
But no, with the cap space discussion, there's a quote that Jerry said after the season end press conference that I keep coming back to.
All in.
And it's right.
Blow it out.
It's where he was saying we are going to have the potential to do things in free agency. So that makes me believe that they've already had the discussions about creating that cap space. I mean, just restructuring Dak and CD alone is going to give them a lot of room. But what do they do with the Quinnen Williams contract, the Kenny Clark contract, Malik Hooker, Terrence Steele? There's a few guys on the roster that they're going to have to figure out. And
One of those people you just listed is not going to be on the roster.
I think so, yeah, and I'm pretty confident, maybe even 2. So, I think it's going to be fascinating to see how that shakes out this offseason, no doubt.
Well, we appreciate y'all's time very much. Tommy from DallasCowboys.com, Nick from Fort Worth Star Telegram. Anything else we need to know, or should we let you get back to your regular lives?
Had fun at the Pro Bowl yesterday. Practice. Got a lot of good stuff from those guys.
Did you mostly focus in on Shador?
No, I got to him afterwards. We got George Pickens. We got Dak. We got Devontae Turpin, Brandon Aubrey. Am I blanking on anybody?
Nah, it was a really good, productive day.
Yeah.
But the highlight of the day was seeing Micah Parsons, who's on crutches and like one of those grandma wheelchairs that like are motorized, and he's trying to kick extra points and play in the tug of war. I'm like, dog, like let it go, man. Go home.
He just loves to be active.
Heal.
Got to be active.
Please heal.
That's crazy. Well, guys, thank you very much,
Thank you,
especially
guys.
since we legitimately just like, hey, come be on the show.
Sit down.
Yeah, absolutely.